Hi, it's Julie from the PMFRC. Thank you for joining us for another Fireside chat. Today we're here to talk about an event that is happening tomorrow, but we wanted to give you a little bit more information and a heads up because we think it's a really great opportunity for lots of people who are in our viewing area, so to speak. It's the Ontario MFRC Virtual Career Fair. You may have a job, but maybe you're interested in looking for something else. There may be a posting in your future and you are wanting to scope out a future community, or there may be just be somebody in your life who is thinking about jobs and you just wanted to sort of check out what's happening in your local area. There's going to be lots of information available. It is going to be tomorrow between 11:30 and 4, and it's going to be involving the MFRCs in North Bay, in Trenton, and in Petawawa. So we have invited Donna Russi from North Bay, Kayla Whitfield from Trenton, and Christine McFadden from Petawawa. And they are all here to talk about the career fair. They are the organizers and they want to give you more information. Let's face it, this virtual world is a little bit new to a lot of us. Because of COVID, we might be used to Zoom and a little bit more used to this online platform, but I am going to date myself. I am more used to printing out resumes and going from place to place and hanging them out in person, and that world does not exist anymore. So let's talk about this virtual career fair and what is possible. Christine, let's just start it off nice and easy. What is a career fair? It's 4.5 hours. Do I have to be there for the entire thing? What should I know before I register?
So many good questions, Julie. Thank you so much for having us. So a virtual career fair is a wonderful networking opportunity, first and foremost. If you've ever been to an in-person career fair where you got to meet employers and recruiters in person, it is pretty much the same thing, except we have a virtual platform. And for this virtual career fair, we are using a very professional vFairs platform in our partnership with Trenton and North Bay MFRC. And I'm thinking maybe I'll just show you, share the screen, what it looks like when you get to that virtual platform. I should be able to just share that right now. Julie, let me know if that works. Wonderful. So like you mentioned, the career fair is on March 24th, which is tomorrow, and the time frame is 11:30 to 4 p.m. The beauty of a virtual career fair is that you can drop at any time from the comfort of your home. That means you can come right at 11:30 when we are starting off. And to show you that, I'm going to show you the agenda. When we are starting off with a welcome message and information session, where you learn a little bit about how to navigate a virtual career fair. Because yes, in person, we know how to shake hands and have a proper handshake and have a good conversation with an employer. But what does it look like in a virtual career fair? Maybe a little bit different. Being able to meet the employers in their booth, that's actually happening between 12 and 3 p.m. And in between there, we have the pre-recorded information session again. So you can drop in anytime, really. You can come right at 12 o'clock, or if you're maybe busy until 2, you can just drop in at 2. So that is the beauty whenever you want to come in. Just make sure you give yourself enough time to talk to all the employers that you want to talk to and bring enough time to do that. This event is also followed by a networking piece where you can talk to the 3 of us or my team members and also some of the employers. So it really is like a big networking event, and obviously first and foremost, an opportunity to find a job or to meet a recruiter and make those connections. I'm not sure if I answered all of your questions, Julie.
You got most of them, and if not, we can sort of circle back around. For those people who saw the website and didn't get a chance to copy down all the things for the agenda, as soon as this is over, we're going to go back into the comment section. We'll put a link to that website in so you can find it a little bit more easily. And what
I should mention, Julie, what is most important is that you actually register for the career fair, because that is the difference maybe to the in-person one. In order to access this wonderful platform, you will have to register, and I'm just going to quickly share my screen again, because that is on the same screen up top where it says register now. You just click on that and you just give us your name, email address. We always ask for the location because we have Petawawa, North Bay, and Trenton. And you even have the opportunity to upload a resume. You don't have to, but you can. And I know Kayla will be going into those details later on. But this is the most important piece. You actually have to register beforehand in order to access this career fair.
So once you do that, will you get an email with a link to click tomorrow, and then sort of you'll know from there? Perfect.
Exactly.
And you get a calendar invite as well.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
So you get that reminder in case something else comes up. So what kind of jobs are available? Oftentimes these career fairs, you know, you don't know who's going to be there. And sometimes you go and you walk around and it's people who are looking for employees, but they're in a different location. This is for people who you are going to have some local employers and some provincial employers. Donat, can you talk a little bit about who those employers are and what kind of people are they looking for? What kind of jobs are they trying to fill?
Certainly. So we have local employers from our 3 locations, so North Bay, Trenton, and Petawawa. The provincial employers that are involved, there's a list of them. I'll go through Calian, Correctional Services of Canada, the Canadian Border Services Agency, Elevate Plus Military, Coding for Veterans, CFMWS, which is Canadian Forces Morale and Welfare Services, Contact North, and Stock Transportation. So those organizations are provincial. They are in all different locations in Ontario. We have a few service providers as well, which is Contact North. So if you're interested in remote or virtual learning, they have a whole vast of information and connections and referrals to other agencies that provide the virtual training. And we have Literacy Nipissing. So there's other organizations that are going to participate that are service providers as well to assist. We have, over 25 employers, and those include the service provider organizations as well. All these organizations are looking for full and part-time work. As long as you live in Canada and are able to be employed, then you qualify for the positions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As you walk through, so if you're new to this, you've never done one of these before, and you're not entirely sure what you're going to need to hook up, can someone join from their computer? Can they join from their phone? What kind of technology do you need in order to join this?
So the biggest thing is that you have to have a really good internet connection, or at least any internet connection, preferably a good one. But any device, a computer, a tablet, a phone. It's probably much easier to navigate using a computer, so a bigger screen. You can virtually see everything, but essentially anything that you connect to the internet, you're able to use.
Isn't it amazing how over the years our definition of a good internet connection has changed so much from where we first started?
Yes.
You could click and I'd wait a minute and I was all excited. Now I was like, I want it now. Kayla, so we're talking about these different employers and the things that you can see on your screen. Can you sort of maybe walk us through what the platform looks like? So if somebody registers and they want to join tomorrow, what can they expect? What are they looking for? And what are the things that they should know when they're navigating through the platform?
Absolutely. Just let me share my screen. So this is the lobby that you enter. So much like Christina was saying, where you walk into a job fair and you can go around to the different booths. This is what the lobby looks like. Over to the left side, you have the auditorium, and this is where the welcome message will be, along with that's playing at 11:30 and 1:30. So you can sit and watch the video, and there's going to be tips and tricks in there on how to make this the best experience for you. And you can either go back to the lobby, or you can use this menu just up here. So if you go into the exhibit hall, this is where we have all the employers. So you can see down here, you have the exhibitors index. So you can scroll down to find which ones are interesting for you. I'm going to click on the Trenton MFRC one, and you'll see that I have a description put in about who we are, what we are, all of that. I also have some documents, and I will have some job postings. I'll go to an employer, but you'll also see that I have Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can click those and it'll open up into the screen. If I go to En route, who's one of our provincial employers, and we click on careers, it'll open up to their job board, or see if we can find another one that has some positions uploaded.
We still have a day to go, so there's some final, you're kind of in the setup of the job fair area
Yeah.
right now, behind the scenes.
Like you're sneaking in whilst everyone's still setting up their trade show booths.
Oh, here we go. So HISCAs,
Hiskas.
independent HISCAs. So you'll see here that there's videos. So they have videos uploaded. Looks like they have a TikTok. That's pretty cool. I'm going to look at those. But they also have all of their job vacancies open here. So you can go through and look at the different ones that they have. And you can also click on view details and it'll tell you about the job and click to apply to your job. Now, this is if you have a resume attached to your registration account. But you can also click on chat and it'll open up the chat bar here. So what's really cool is that this is where everything happens. And I'm just gonna, so you can also increase it. You'll see all of the people that we have. And then you can send messages directly to people. So I'm gonna send a message to Christina. And this is where everything happens. And you'll also be able to see that there is an option to do a video chat. And as an employer, we can go in and look at your resumes that you've put in. There's also the opportunity to add things to your swag bag. So in a typical career fair, when you're in person, you'll go through and a lot of places will have swag that you can pick up. This is a virtual swag. So you can add things to your swag bag. And then when you go to your swag bag, you can then send it all to your email. So then that way you don't have to download anything right away. If you're on a phone or anything, you can just save it to your swag bag and then send it over. There are resources. So this is where all of the resources are. And I'll quickly show you the lounge. So this is where the networking event will take place. So you'll be able to click on North Bay, Trenton, or Petawawa, and it'll open up the chat box for us. And you can also interact with the other people that are still online and use that to network. So that's pretty much the whole website.
Can I just link back to a couple of questions to clarify? So if you go back to the exhibitor hall, you pulled up one of the jobs and you said, apply for this job, submit, and it said, okay, I have submitted. So when I register, if I have uploaded my resume and I say, I'm going to apply for the job and I hit that button, it's going to, on my behalf, send the resume to the employer and let them know that that's the job I'm interested in?
Yes.
So it sort of saves the steps of like finding the job ad, downloading it, bringing it up. It's going to do all that thing in one swoop.
Yes. And it'll link it saying that it's from this event. And then you can go and talk to one of the recruiters and say, you know, hey, what jobs do you have open? Like, I saw that you have this job. Can you tell me more about it? I just want to let you know that I've applied for this job. So then that way they know to pick up your application and connect it to this event.
So that's like a one-on-one chat. There's going to be someone who's sitting there who's going to be watching it and talking back to you. Similarly, if I was walking around and there was a person behind the table at the booth, I can have a conversation one-on-one with them. So there's sort of that interaction. It's not just I'm going and looking at information that's been preloaded.
No, you actually get to talk with representatives from each of the exhibitors that we have.
Thank you. I just wanted to double check that I was understanding that correctly. I think a lot of us sort of you are used to just going and picking up information, but we forget how important that one-on-one conversation is. It would be great to be able to sort of see somebody and shake their hand, but look eye to eye. But you've already had that conversation, and people remember that when you've made the effort to introduce yourself. Christina, who should attend? Is there any requirements? I think people see. They wonder, is this like for military personnel only? Who can attend the job fair and who should attend?
So we are indeed specifically targeting our military families, our military members that are releasing, our veterans, the veteran family members, and really any clients that are using MFRC employment services. So if you're interested and you're not any of the military family related to the military family, you can still use the gateway through employment services and get your help through there and access the job fair. I highly recommend that if you are obviously looking for a job now, attend, but also if you may be looking for a job in the next month or maybe even in a year, because a career fair is not only beneficial when you're looking for work right now, it is a great way to set up those connections, like you mentioned, to have that conversation with a recruiter. So maybe in 3 to 5 months, when you're applying to a position, you can refer back to that career fair where you met for the first time and made a good first impression. So that's the big networking piece that I see people often underestimate, how beneficial and useful even a virtual job fair can be to make those connections. And we all know it is all about connections quite often, especially when we are living the military lifestyle where we get posted a lot, where we know we may get posted next year. So this is a great opportunity to reach out to some of the other locations. And we have Petawawa, North Bay, and Trenton here right now. But like you saw, there was other Ontario employers as well. So really anywhere in Ontario would be, anybody living in Ontario would be really beneficial to attend. If you're employed right now and you're not really thinking about a new job right away, but you're thinking about a career change, it is also a great opportunity to talk to the employers and ask, what are you looking for? What kind of qualifications do I need to work for you? And then you can strategically set your career path in that direction as well. So there's a lot of really good opportunities specifically for our CAF members that are looking to release, because we have some employers that are very, very interested in those skills and that experience that someone brings from a military career. And we all know the transition is not always easy from military to civilian. So having employers here that are specifically looking for your background and your skills is really great benefit.
And also having those service providers, because maybe in those conversations, you find out that there's a skill or a course or some sort of designation that you don't have that's going to make it easier to get to that job or to move down that path. Sort of circling back around to those service providers, those are the people who can make those referrals and let you know what you need to do to get back on that path.
And Julie, we always say we don't know what we don't know. So coming in and learning some things. For example, we have Coding for Veterans in there right now. They offer programs not just for veterans, but also for military family members, military spouses. So a lot of us may not know that yet. So highly recommend even to just get some information to drop in after you register would be a great opportunity.
I think it's always interesting to talk to people about the kinds of jobs that are available and even the kinds of jobs that exist. The world is changing so quickly. A lot of people are working today in jobs that didn't even exist 5 years ago. So maybe it wasn't on your radar screen that it was something that you'd be interested in. But I think there's a lot happening right now that if you reach out and sort of ask those questions and start working along that path, there might be something in your future that you might be interested in pursuing that you didn't even know was there. Caleb, is there anything that I need to do in advance? If I've signed up for this, I've gone through, I filled out the registration form. Are there any other things that I should be working on so that when I hit the virtual auditorium tomorrow, I'm able to impress those exhibitors with job skills or other things in my back pocket?
So one of the most important things is to have a resume uploaded to your profile. So then that way employers can have a chance to view your resume right then and there. Speaking from an employer in the past, I went to a job fair on VFairs and I went through the registrants and was looking at resumes, trying to fill positions here. And I picked out some that I absolutely wanted to talk to as soon as they got online. So hopefully some of our other employers will be doing the same. So it's really good idea to have a resume, but you can also attach it in the chat as well. If you don't know how to put it into your profile after you've made it, or you want to make some last minute changes, you can also send it to them in the chat. make sure that you're registered. You can't enter the event without being registered. It's not a drop-in, it's not a walk-in. Have an elevator pitch ready or have an introduction ready. So, you know, hi, my name is so-and-so, you know, these are my skills. What kind of positions are you hiring for? What do you look for in your employees? You know, and this is also a really good opportunity to talk to them and ask those questions. What do you like about your job? What do you like about your company? You know, as much as they can interview you and ask you questions, this is also a really great opportunity to ask employees questions on what they think of their company. Make sure you're in a quiet space, especially if you're going to go into those video chats. We know that with COVID and working from home or being at home, you know, if you have little ones or if you have animals, the time that you go to video chat online or have a meeting seems to be the only time of the day where everything happens all at once and you have crying babies and barking dogs. So if you can try to find a quiet space, bribe your kids with TV or, you know, iPad time, you know, give your dog a bone so that it's as quiet as possible. And you also want to make sure that you're dressed professionally and not in your pajamas. So if you do get a video chat request, that you're prepared and you feel confident. Now, you can wear pajama pants, just make sure that from the top up that you look professional. You know, if you look professional, you'll feel more confident in yourself. And also take some time to kind of Google the companies, see which ones interest you, have a look at kind of the jobs that they're offering. You know, there's no requirement for you to talk to every employer. You can pick out the ones that interest you, but I really do suggest Googling those that are in your area, that are ones that are interesting you. But also take a look at some of our service providers. They offer some really great programming. And you can learn a lot or find out funding options to get some more education and upskill or reskill.
We talk about registering in advance. If someone is only finding this video tomorrow morning, is it too late to sign up? Can you still register tomorrow morning to sort of get that account and get that link?
You can register up till probably 2:30. I wouldn't suggest registering at like the last 15 minutes because you're only going to get 15 minutes. But you can register up and into the event.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that no one thought that they had missed the boat. As long as the event is still going, you have not missed it. Before we sign off, just a quick roundtable. You all work with people who are job seekers, some military family members, military members, others folks putting on your employment service hat. What is your best advice for someone who's going into that roundtable tomorrow? What do you want to encourage them to do, Christina?
So I would recommend to be open-minded. Quite often we think we know what an employer is looking for, what kind of positions an employer has, and we know if we're fit or not. But most of the time that may be an assumption or a lack of information. So being open-minded and soaking in all the information and then really using that as an opportunity to maybe get some new ideas or have like a new plan, or maybe feel more positive about an upcoming transition in our lives. I think being open and positive about new information is a good tip.
Thank you. Donut?
Just being confident and coming to the event with you know, all your information and know who you are, know your resume, know what you're qualified to do, have those chats with the employers, and yeah, it's a great event to get to know not only our local employers that are involved, however the provincial ones that are participating as well. And if you're interested in a career advancement or learning a new skill, there's lots of service providers there to assist as well.
Thank you. Kayla?
One of my biggest things would be network. It's in a day and age where we're always applying online and you're applying into applicant tracking systems, resumes can get lost, or, you're applying to jobs and you're applying to a job that 20 other people are applying for. Networking with the recruiters, getting to know them, getting their contact information, so that you can, even if you're not applying today during the event, and you're applying, a few weeks or a few months down the road, that you can connect back with that person and say, hey, I'm Kayla. We met at the Ontario MFRC Virtual Career Fair. We talked about your job positions. I just want to let you know that I'm applying for one of your jobs, and that can be invaluable during these times. And networking is probably the biggest
more broadly.
takeaway.
I think a lot of times people don't think they're qualified for something because they've always worked in a certain time of job in a certain type of industry. And they don't necessarily think about the fact that all the things that they have learned there is also going to be applicable in other types of jobs. So I really think broadly about the kinds of things that you bring to the table, and don't sell yourself short. You are qualified for a lot of things that, once you start thinking about your broad range of experience. Kayla,
Yes,
did you say?
I was just going to say, like, if you think about transferable skills, one of the examples that I always use is if you're working, say, full-time at McDonald's as a cashier and a cook and all of that, and you want to, say, go into a bank teller position, there are a lot of transferable skills between those. You look at working in a high-paced environment. You're looking at working with customers, dealing with team conflict, meeting deadlines or requirements. There's cash handling, point of sale machines. There's a lot of transferable skills that you don't think of right away because McDonald's is a fast food restaurant and a bank is a bank or a financial institution, but there's actually a lot of transferable skills between the two jobs. It's just how you present them on your resume. And that's something that any of us can help you with if you want to reach out to us, after the event. It's a little short right now, but even after the event, we can sit down and talk to you about those skills and how to work with them.
That is such a good, example, Kayla, that often we don't see the value in those transferable skills. So I believe, Julie, we will be posting some contact information, how to get a hold of our employment centers in order to get that support for your career advancement.
Sometimes you just need to have a chat with somebody else to take a look at your skills and maybe look at it a little bit more differently than you're looking at it. That second set of eyes to really show you the broad variety of ways that you have those skills. Thank you all for joining us. Like Christina said, we are going to be putting all sorts of information in the comment section, including the link for how to register. It would be great if you are thinking about finding a job, if you are maybe being posted this year, if you have just the idea about maybe I'd like to try something new. This is a great opportunity for you to come do a little research and find out the opportunities that are out there. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.